Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All of our guests today, including Ross Tucker, standing by, sponsored by Passat Motors. This November, say no. Say no to the GST when purchasing a new-to-you vehicle from Passat Motors. Learn more at Passat Motors, BASANT Motors.com. Joining us now from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Sports and Westwood 1, it's Ross Tucker. Thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Awesome. What's up, boys? How are you?
Very good. Very good. Eagles over Jacksonville, 28-23. When's the last time, with Saquon Barkley in mind, you saw a reverse hurdle at the NFL level, or any level, as a matter of fact, of football?
Yeah, never. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't ever remember seeing anyone ever do what Saquon Barkley did. Maybe the craziest part of it is that as you watch the play, what's crazy, I mean, he first breaks a tackle, then he spins off another guy, then he jumps the third guy backwards. It wasn't like this was the first guy and he could think about it and collect himself. This was the third guy. He made two other NFL guys totally whiff, and then right after a spin move, he just jumped up and over a guy's head backwards. It's, I mean, there's a lot to it, right? Not only is it insane that he has the physical ability at over 230 pounds to do that, the thing I keep thinking about is, how do you even think to do that? I mean, evidently you don't, right? You just react. But, like, how is that somewhere in your brain to react and do that? Like, I have never really looked at it that closely, Donnie, but I am very confident there's nothing in Rick's brain that would trigger a backwards hurdle, backwards jump over a guy like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that on his way to work. Hey, another question from that game, Ross, and I'm a uniform guy. Why don't the Eagles go full-time with the Kelly Greens? They're spectacular.
Well, they are spectacular. And, you know, you're preaching to the choir here. I grew up outside of Philadelphia in the 80s, right? And the 90s. So I think that is the most glorious color of all time. I absolutely love the Kelly Greens. But, you know, they have other colors. And I think that I think it makes it more special that they don't do it every week. I mean, I guess you could ask the same question of the Seahawks, right? Why don't the Seahawks go with the Steve Largent, Kurt Warner jerseys every week, since everybody loves those too? At some point, it seems like people stop loving certain jerseys and are ready for something new, and then we realize, oh, no, wait, those other ones were actually better.
Good pull on the Kurt Warner, because when you bring up the name Kurt Warner, 9 out of 10 people are going to bring up Kurt Warner, Rams quarterback. But excellent pull. I'm impressed with your Seahawks knowledge. Rick.
Well, in fairness, he's a Penn State guy.
Right.
So he's a Penn State running back. So everybody knows about Kurt Warner around here.
Pretty depressing talking about the Seahawks right now, Ross. They've lost 5 of their past 6. Red zone problems for the second straight week. An interception right here. And this goes back 100-plus yards. Right here, it was 13-13. Another interception in the red zone after this. And what is going on with the Seahawks? It is just absolutely I think they have to go 6-2 now just to get to 10-7 and a shot at the playoffs, Ross.
Well, it is a shame, because it felt like it was right there for them, right? Like, I don't think anybody watching that game would watch and say that, you know, the Rams were necessarily the better team. They won the game, but maddening and frustrating for the Seahawks. You get the pick, 603 yards. You get that next interception. Then Geno keeps slinging it to Smith and Jigba. You tie it up to go to overtime. You get all the way down their territory, 4th and 1, and you get stuffed. I mean, you know, there's a lot of plays they'll point to. If that play went different, or if that play went different, or if that play went different, Seahawks would have won. Those are the ones that really become tough to swallow.
Boy, oh boy, that was a big win by the Lions in Green Bay. They're now 7-1. Ross, a lot of people are starting to get on their bandwagon, and I know you love the Lions. You know their coach. How happy are you with what they're doing?
Well, and what's so crazy about that one, yeah, Dan and I were teammates for a brief time in Dallas, but what's so crazy about the Lions win yesterday is that everybody kept saying they haven't played outside yet. Yep. Oh, everything has been indoors. Not only was it outside, it was pouring.
Yep.
I mean, it was raining hard, and they still won convincingly. It didn't matter. So I think that was a statement game by the Lions in a lot of ways, right? Statement within the division. You know, they've already beaten the Vikings. Now they've beaten the Packers. And then also a statement in terms of if they don't get home field advantage and have to play on the road.
Hey, Ross, we brought up the Eagles. We brought up the Lions. Let's talk about the Commanders. 27-22 over the Giants. What are they now? 7-2. How much of a threat are they in the NFC to those other teams, the Lions and the Eagles?
Very much a threat. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're 7-2, you're 7-2, and they believe in that quarterback. I thought they were poised for a letdown after the Hail Maryland, right? Like, you think, okay, they're going to have a letdown after everybody's patting them on the back, and the Hail Mary says a lot about them that those guys were able to power through it and still perform that well like they did to get that win over the Giants. I thought that was a classic letdown spot, trap game, whatever you want to call it, but I guess it was for the Bears with how they played against the Cardinals, but not for the Commanders, who, no matter what you think, they just continue to find a way, and it feels like they have a real chance to now be a threat in the NFC East and really the whole NFC. I mean, I feel like they have a chance to get to the conference championship game for sure.
And their uniforms are growing on me as well. Hey, Ross, I think I've got this right. Tell us about your Pennsylvania sports Saturday, Army, Air Force. You do that, and did you go see a Hershey Bears game right after that?
Oh, wow!
Yeah,
how was that?
I did. So you guys are gonna love this, okay? So first, I do Air Force at Army on CBS, which was great. I love it. There's an unbelievable tailgate before the game, the Lichtenberg tailgate. I know those guys well, so I go there, and if you check out my social media at Ross Tucker NFL, you can see the steak sandwiches and the brats and the Cajun chicken and all that. Unfortunately, I ate a lot, and I had several people talking to me. So by the time I went to go grab my bag, which I had put up against the building, there was 5 or 6 guys from the bomb squad there, because it was an unattended bag on an Army base, and they sliced open my bag to make sure it wasn't a bomb. So literally before I came on, I'm like converting to a new bag over here. So they had a job to do, but I learned a valuable lesson about unattended bags and eating as much as I do, that I was away from my bag for that long. But then after the game, I went right to the Giant Center in Hershey and met up with my family for an AHL game. I felt like a real dollywall watching minor league hockey. It was awesome. I got a beer right when I went there. The boys were flying around. It's such a great product. They sell out almost every game. They're playing the Charlotte Checkers, which is a cool name for a hockey team. It's unbelievable how good hockey is in person. Like, and how fast they are when you're in person. And then they get in the penalty box and they look like they could be my son. It's unbelievable. They're like 20 years old. It's like, oh my gosh.
Hey, one more, Russ. We talk about hockey. The NHL trade deadline is such a big deal. NFL trade deadline is Tuesday. What's that like for players? And did you go through anything like that? Worrying about where you might end up?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been traded before. It was not at the trade deadline. It was actually more like during training camp when there was an injury. You know, I just don't think it's that big a deal in the NFL. There's usually not a high volume of players. My guess is it will be 2 to 4 max tomorrow. So unless you're one of the names that's been mentioned a lot, like Zadarius Smith from Cleveland, I don't think many guys really even think about it, unless their name has specifically been mentioned.
All right, Ross, thanks for this. Watch out for your bag, okay?
I will. And listen, it's November, so you guys watch out for myfrontpagestory.com.
Absolutely.
The holidays will be here before you know it. Get somebody in your life the greatest gift they could ever have. The look on their faces when they see that you had a writer write a whole story about how amazing they are, and then they read the quotes from you and the kids talking about how incredible she is. I can almost guarantee they'll cry. And Rick, it will be different tears from your wife this time. It won't be disappointment. It will be happiness. myfrontpagestory.com. myfrontpagestory.com. Don't be a Rick, be a Donnie.
She's been crying since the wedding night. Hey, Ross, thanks for this, my friend.
See you guys.
Adios.